like to address the board and call to the public, you can grab a blue card out in the entry and fill that out and get that over to the wonderful Mrs. Hahn over here. And we'll get going here in just a minute or two. Thanks. We'll call this meeting to order. Lisa, would you please call the roll?
Ben Owens,
Present.
Anna Marie Noor,
Present.
Jim Jordan,
Present.
Tori Anderson,
Present.
Robert Downey.
Present.
Very good. Thank you. We're on to 1C, Pledge of Allegiance, and I have asked Mr. Robert Downey to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here, if you get cold, you can borrow my wrap.
All right, we are on to item 1D, adoption of the agenda. And I would like to move number 26 on 7A to its own vote board.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Tori Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye. We are on to item 2, call to the public, and we do not have anybody here this evening and to address the board, and no emailed calls to the public. On to item 3, Superintendent's report. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. COVID transmission continues to decline in our district, county, and state. And today, Governor Ducey released an executive order mandating in-person learning for every school district and charter school upon their return from spring break. Since the executive order also mandates a virtual option for families who choose it. Since Maricopa Unified has offered both instructional models since the fall, the mandate has little impact on our operations. We will continue to collaborate with the Pinal County Health Department to define any minor changes to our protocols that may emerge from this executive order. Maricopa High School Theater Company recently earned a superior troop ranking after competing in the virtual Central Arizona Festival of Theater Regional Competition. 11 MHS students competed and 6 students advanced to the national competition. For solo musical, Haley Raphael, Mary Brokenshire, and Fallon Frouchet. For monologue, Simon Ty and Emmy Booth. For stage management, Katie Hanks. And these performers received a superior score at competition. For solo musical, Joey Rusinello, Sarahi Benea Quintero, and Caden Atkinson. For monologue, Cameron Patton Scott and Nicholas Perez. Congratulations to all who participated. Well done. This week, Pima Butte Elementary School celebrates Read Across America with fun activities for online and in-person students. Drop Everything and Read happens once a day at undisclosed times. Music plays in virtual and in-person classrooms to signal students and staff to stop what they're doing and read silently or listen to a story for 10 minutes. Mystery readers are also popping into virtual and in-person classrooms to surprise students with a quick story. Some teachers have even invited families to jump in virtually and read to their classes. And on Friday, everyone is encouraged to participate in Words on Your Shirt Day. I think I have a few shirts I can wear. So, way to inspire a love for reading, Pima Butte. Don't forget, we're hosting our second job fair tomorrow, and this time it's virtual. Interested applicants can join us tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. to learn about jobs in our district and to meet with principals and department leaders to discuss joining our team. It's not too late to RSVP. Just visit our website at musd20.org/employment openings. Now, we already have 90 applicants registered, but because the event is virtual, the sky is the limit. And that's it for my report, Mr. Owens.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Lopman. We were on to governing board member reports. And let's start with Ms. Knorr.
Thank you, President Owens. I don't have anything to report right now. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Knorr. Mr. Jordan.
I don't have anything to report either, except the wind is bringing some of the dirt from over south to us. So you encountered that coming. That's coming tonight. So good enough.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Mrs. Anderson.
Good evening. It seems like I just saw you last week.
Funny how that happens.
I just want to give a shout out. I don't know if any of you have read the Auditor General's report that was emailed to us, but I encourage staff and community members to take a look because I'm extremely proud of the numbers of how we've kept our dollars down as far as classroom. Our classroom spending is great, but we have done a good job of controlling our administrators. You know, we have 94 kids per administrator, and around us, the schools around us actually have 75 kids per administrator. So we've done a really good job, I think, keeping our dollars in the classroom. So if you haven't seen it, we've worked really hard to get those numbers in the low section, and the numbers look really good. So I hope you'll take a look at that. And then have a great spring break next week. It's here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Mr. Downey.
Nothing to report.
Very good. Thank you, sir. And I don't have anything tonight either. All right, moving right along, we are on to item 5A, Spotlight School, Maricopa Wells Middle School. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you, President Owens. Tonight's school spotlight is presented to us by Principal Thad Miller from Maricopa Wells Middle School. Mr. Miller and his whole team that is here tonight, it's like Maricopa Wells is in the house, will highlight programs and celebrations that capture the Maricopa Wells school experience and spirit. Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Dr. Lotman, President Owen, board members. I appreciate you allowing us to be here tonight. Now, I'm saying I'm excited to be here, and I really mean it because I really do love my school, and I want you guys to see some of the great things that are happening there. So, anyways, we did have a couple options tonight. We were going to either do a song and dance show or the PowerPoint. Chair's got in the way of the song and dance, so you're stuck with the PowerPoint. Sorry. But as you can see, I have some teachers here that are going to contribute. They have some very important data to share, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. Okay, right from the very beginning, I want to go ahead, Miss Perry. Okay, anyways, just starting at the very beginning, our mission statement at Maricopa Wells: prepare our students for success at the high school level and beyond. Kind of a basic statement, but it really summarizes what we're trying to do. We want our kids ready for high school, but we're looking at beyond because we want to create contributing members of our society. And so we're looking at academics first, but we also look at behavior and social aspect also. Thank you, Ms. Terry. This goes right along the line with our district strategic plan, which if we look at the goal there, every student graduates prepared to create, innovate, lead, and succeed. Again, academics, but that's multifaceted on trying to get our kids prepared for the community they live in. And the strategy we're going to talk about tonight when several different systems is implement a multi-tiered system of support to provide intervention and acceleration based on students' individual strengths and needs. So with that, I'm going to turn some time over to our one and only Mr. Jason Soltistic, our assistant principal.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Lopman. I actually have a loud voice, so I'm trying to be soft in the microphone because it will project if I start going on and on and on. Just let me know volume if it gets too loud. But one thing I wanted to present to you guys was just the honors classes. We've had for many years at Maricopa Wells honors classes in math and ELA, and we've actually grown in the years since they've been started. In math now, we have 53 algebra students, kind of aligning with our mission of high school and beyond, getting those kids prepared for algebra, geometry at the high school level, and much more challenging mathematics. We actually have a student now who's in 8th grade going to the high school for geometry class. He's actually going to get high school credit. And then our ELA has grown in our honors every year. We have 69 students in 8th grade and 64 in 7th grade, which is a jump every year. And we have students who want to take assessment to see if they can get in the honors class. And they like the challenge, and our scholars are very rewarded, and our teachers provide a very rewarding experience for these kids. One thing Mr. Miller and I have been discussing actually for about 2 years now, we've always looked at our elective classes and making sure they're very purposeful and get our students ready for high school. And one thing we've implemented for 2021 this year, and it's been successful, is some new elective classes. We now have a graphic design elective, we have photography, we have a health class, advanced Spanish, and a drama class, which we brought back, which we had, now we have again. And we're hoping to do some more plays in the auditorium when we can again. But the CTE class, one thing, last year I had met with CTE from the high school, and this year our counselors have met with some of the CTE coordinators from the high school about aligning a transition to the high school with a CTE class. Our CTE class, although it will talk about job readiness, job skills, it's going to also be aligned to high school. So just things like having kids know what high school credits are. As someone who came from teaching at the high school, a lot of freshmen get very panicky by sophomore, junior year when they realize, oh, I have to take that class again and I'm behind in credits. So we want to get a jump start on that now so that our kids are ready when they go to MHS. They're not surprised, they're ready to go. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Now I'm going to hand it back to the one and only Mr. Thad Miller.
I think that's the one and only, but yeah. So, okay. Math realignment. So this is a little description I want to explain to you a little bit. So as kids all come into middle school, all of our sixth graders, we put them in a class that's called Panther Prep. Basically, what this is, it's a remediation for math to increase that proficiency. So we've been doing this since 2017. Students are all leveled according to individual needs. I want to share, though, it takes a lot of work. When you have 300 sixth graders come in, we level them according to what the needs of each kid needs. And I'm going to bring it up. Miss Casey Burns, raise your hand. She's our math coach. She puts a lot of time into making sure those kids are put in the correct level so they can increase their proficiency in math. Our counselors help out in the scheduling because it comes times to making sure they're in the right section at the right time. One thing we noticed, though, and I'm going to put this really give credit to our math team, because as our kids in sixth grade honors math, they're doing well. They're doing just fine. But when they go into seventh grade, we put them in pre-algebra, which is normal. But pre-algebra is actually an eighth grade course. So our math team realized, and there's a couple of math people here today, I appreciate them. So a lot of these things I'm gonna share right now. This is not all principal ideas. I'm gonna let you guys know I have a great staff, and they come up with great ideas, and that's what makes Wells so great. Let's just want to throw that point in right now. But one thing they realize is as they hit the pre-algebra and then algebra, since basically they skipped seventh grade math, there's still vital standards that they need. So that's part of that realignment. So with the Panther Prep, we have an honors Panther Prep now. So the sixth graders are in an honors Panther Prep, which is seventh grade math. And so then they can proceed to pre-algebra in seventh grade, algebra in eighth grade, and it really makes a difference because we're trying to get that communication with the high school. Again, we're preparing for high school. And even though the kids are successful in pre-algebra, they're successful in algebra. But by the time they hit some upper level math, we need to make sure they aren't missing any of the steps. So there's no gaps at all. And so they're basically getting all the levels of math they need, and it's working. Those highly proficient students so now they're moving to pre-algebra in seventh, and they're better prepared for algebra in eighth grade. It really does make a difference. Thank you, Ms. Terry. Okay, Panther Prep. This is something I want to share. Again, like I said, we started this in 2017. In 2 years, it's been a success. We've seen an increase in our sixth grade math scores of almost 12%. And that's huge when it comes to, we're trying to get 2, 3, 4% a year. That's our goal. We always want to increase our scores, but 12% in 2 years is huge. Now, yes, I'll say the Panther Prep had something to do with it, but I'm gonna again fall back on the staff I have. We've had the same consistent math staff at Maricopa for the last couple of years, and the board, you've all mentioned this multiple times on the consistency we're trying to build. This is an example of the consistent math staff and the difference it makes in kids. They know what the teachers are doing. They know what to expect. Some of them have had their brothers and sisters in those classes, so they know what to prepare for. And I can't thank them enough. Again, our math coach has done a great job this year, so I'm going to keep tooting her horn because Casey does a great job. We had that math coach has been huge for just our math department too, and just to show the progression that our kids need, but that consistency in our staff is successful. You guys. Okay, next slide. I'm going to invite a couple teachers to come up here with me now. Miss Jenkins, you come up here with me. Miss Jenkins is going to share a little bit on our Panther Ambassadors. Ms. Gandiri is going to share a little bit on our National Junior Honor Society. And then I'm going to have Mr. Vaughn come up and share a little bit on our ISS and Streets Don't Love You Back. They'll take 5 to 10 minutes each. That'll be a couple minutes. All right, Ms. Jenkins.
Always has jokes. Good evening, board members. Dr. Lopeman, it's a real privilege to talk to you this evening about the Panther Ambassador. It's one of the exciting things that we're doing at Maricopa Wells. And Corey, if you remember, a few years ago, we had something called Helping Students Succeed Arizona Style. And we were one of those campuses that took that methodology, and created Helping Kids Succeed campus style. So even though Panther Ambassadors is new, the program is not new. We've been trying to have an authentic voice for our scholars for many years now. Panther Ambassador is a way for a child, 6th through 8th grade, to be a leader on campus. And the main way is through peer mediation. And I know Mr. Vaughn is coming up here as well. Mr. Vaughn and I, we did extensive training on how to be a peer mediator. And it just took off. We had more than what we expected when the students found out about the Panther Ambassadors going through peer mediation. So it really is creating an authentic voice on campus, creating leaders on campus. They had their own special ID badge. You will see them out on campus trying to de-escalate situations. So it was really, really great to see. And we're hoping to continue this next year. One of the things that we have to do next year is recruitment now, because many of our eighth graders have moved on to high school. A lot of them that were Panther ambassadors were eighth graders. So again, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, wonderful program, and we're excited to keep it going. Thank you.
Sorry, I too am kind of loud, so let me know if I'm being too loud. Good evening, Dr. Lotman, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you what has been going on with NJHS at our campus. To talk about this, I kind of have to take you back into my history. I was born in Nigeria, West Africa. Immigrated to the United States when I was in elementary school, which was not an easy feat for myself or for my family. We had people here in the United States that helped us, that came along beside us, supported us, and served us. So when Mr. Miller kind of threw out a couple years ago, "Hey, Shalom, do you want to do NJHS?" I said, "Sure." And then I went to look at what the pillars were. What do these kids need to do? And what stood out for me was service. And I thought, this is such a fantastic opportunity to share and instill the values that I have coming to this country and receiving service and help and aid. So immediately I got the group together. These are kids that are very, very motivated. They're scholars. They're already leaders on campus. I wanted to really have that passion for service. So I asked the kids, what do you want to do? They gave me ideas. I said, I'll ask Mr. Miller. And thankfully, he agreed to everything. Some things he was a little nervous about, but he said yes. And we were able to achieve so much. We had 2 food drives. I think our campus was one of the only organizations to pack so much food. 2 food drives were around the holidays, and the food banks were really low. Kids said we should do it. We did it. We found out that we needed blood in our community. Kids said, let's have a blood drive. Okay, so we did it. Then we decided against abuse. Gosh, this is a a service that we can do right here in our community, and they're helping our people. Let's raise money. So we said we're going to do a penny drive. We did a penny drive. We had Against Abuse come out. We had a huge assembly back in the day when we didn't need these. And they came out and we gave them a check for $600. And the smile on those faces, because I didn't do anything, I facilitated it. The students did it. Our staff supported it. When I asked for food, these people brought food. Families brought food. We got to see the generosity of the people here in Maricopa, generosity of our staff, and generosity of the students because they took this on. This was their passion. So I was really, really excited and humbled to be a part of that and to see that grow. I wanted to continue to work with our NJHS kids and really all kids on our campus to serve our community. There are needs in our community, and we can meet them together. So thank you so much for allowing me to present that.
Good evening to everyone, to the board, superintendent. I am honored. I am Mr. Vaughn, the ISS facilitator at Maricopa Well. I'm honored to be here to talk about ISS. I have to say this before I start. When Mr. Miller contacted me and asked me if I was interested in assisting him on campus as an ISS facilitator, one of the first things I said to him is that if I'm allowed to come on board, ISS will not be a babysitting service. And you laugh, but there are a lot of people who consider ISS as a babysitting service. I don't. I had a grandmother who taught me it's not about being a babysitter, about training up individuals. But what I have tried to do along with staff, Mr. Miller and Mr. S's support is to provide a space where staff, students, support staff, and parents can create something that will help our Panther members succeed as students and be a true example as positive contributors here in this community.
not only on our campus, but in the community. In order to do that, I had to understand the positive behavior interventions and supports, PBIS. What we've tried to do is integrate those core principles into what we do on a daily basis in ISS and across the campus. Through those core principles, we have effectively found opportunities to teach appropriate behavior to all students, not just the ones who come into ISS. We have intervened early in many situations before unwanted behaviors escalate. Teachers, students have been open and felt brave enough to come and report certain things that allow myself, the counselors, the teachers to meet some of these things head on before they get real serious. Wherever possible, through ISS, we have tried to use research-based, scientifically validated interventions, and we've also monitored progress. I've taken the tracking that we've done through PBS and actually created a spreadsheet that allows me to tell you not only what students have come through ISS, I can tell you their grade, I can tell you their gender, I can tell you how many times they've been in ISS. I can also report that to Mr. S, and we can make decisions about further ISS intervention or mandated assignments, as we call it, or OSS. Along with that, we've utilized all of the strategies in PBS where we've designed a classroom where there are a lot of individuals, students on our campus who feel very comfortable in ISS, even when they're in trouble, even when they're there for doing something inappropriate. They have found that in this space, I've created something where they can come, they can work on missed assignment, they can work on projects that are due today through their classroom. I'm very proud of that environment. I've also been able to post and define the expectations within that room. It's not a loud room. You don't come to interact and have fun with the other individuals in ISS. You're there to do work. You're there to have conversations with Mr. Vaughn about appropriate behavior, positive behavior. We've also provided opportunities for students to respond, which has given them not just a safe space, but a brave space. I believe some people don't understand what brave is. A safe space is somewhere where you just feel no harm will come to you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be willing to talk. A brave space is an environment where you can come and feel comfortable opening up. And what we've been able to do with the counselors and the teachers, some of our students have been able to come to us, especially in this time, and share some things that they normally would not share with others. And it's allowed us to be a conduit so that they can be moved into other resources that assist them through that, them and their families, I should say. As I get to the end of my piece, I've also been able to, because of the relationships that I build with youth, been able to correct behavior long before it gets to that high level where they're being disruptive in the classroom. Because I also walk the campus, I'm able to meet students. I'm able to see certain behaviors beginning to formulate, and I can pull them over to the side, have a conversation with them, and it corrects them before something happens within the classroom. The final things I want to talk about is, again, we're dispelling the notion that ISS is a babysitting service. It is not. It will not be. We build relationships across the campus that form a front line of defense to decrease negative behavior and/or action. We facilitate conversations centered around character and leadership. We provide classroom presentations that emphasize, reinforce, and encourage positive behavior. We observe. Sometimes I get the opportunity to go in and observe certain students, see if that behavior is being done and helping the teacher to kind of work through that where they don't have to be sent to ISS. We facilitate virtual ISS. If there's anybody on the board who would like to hear about virtual ISS, give Mr. S a call, and we'll let you know how that works for us, because it has worked. We offer opportunities for students to mediate different, problem solve, discover next steps in avoiding inappropriate behavior and actions, and also improve their decision-making skills. Along with that, we deliver services not only for the traditional classes, but for the blended learning settings and the ESS environment. We just added to our after-school programming, The Streets Don't Love You Back. And for those of you who are aware of The Streets Don't Love You Back, it is a life skills intervention program that we felt it was necessary to add just that other layer to help individuals not cross over to the other side. And Rob and Lucinda actually come on campus and facilitate that themselves in one of our rooms. Last, we provide a safe, brave environment where students have the opportunity to rethink their decisions and our actions, as well as receive encouragement. Thank you for this opportunity.
As you can see, just with the staff, small example, but this explains why I like going to work every day. I have a great staff. They have great ideas, and we're getting better and being successful every day. So in closing, I have a couple pictures here I want to share. The top two are NJHS. The top left is our food drive. Again, when they picked it up, they said it's the largest one-time event of picking up that much food. So it's awesome. We're going to continue that. The top right is the one Ms. Ganduri was talking about, why I wasn't sure to say yes to. But we did it. It was a penny wars. And the winning class got to tape me to the wall. So that's what that is. And then I also have to share, these are actually pre-COVID last year. So it looks kind of weird to see pictures without masks on. But those are both pre-COVID. Bottom left, Streets Don't Love You Back. When we started the program there, a lot of our leaders of our community came out to this. So we had Mayor Price, we had Chief Stahl, we had Judge Riggs, Mr. Irving's in there. And so they've all been very supportive of getting this program started. And that Streets Don't Love You Back is great at supporting kids rather than suspending them. We put them in this program after school, and they have to attend for 6 weeks. So it's working. And then the bottom right, that's Mr. Boyd again. This last Christmas, he gave away over 100 bicycles from what he is just through that Streets Don't Love You Back and the community help. So in closing, I just want to let you all know, every staff meeting, I try to bring up a staff, why are we at Wells? Two main reasons that always come up. Sometimes it turns into a discussion, sometimes it's just a thought thing from when they're leaving our staff meeting. Top two reasons are always, we have great kids. Maricopa Wells has great kids. The second one is we have great staff. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I mentioned earlier, all these ideas that are happening on campus are not my ideas. These are ideas from the staff because they're there for our kids. They're there to help our kids progress every year. Again, getting them ready for high school, getting them ready to be positive contributors to our community, and we're being successful. That's just really important. Mr. Vaughn touched on it. We're big on relationships, and you can see just the examples we said. They're big on relationships. That's very important in middle school for the kids to have a relationship with those people who are teaching them every day. So we're big on that. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm staff publicly. They know because I tell them every staff meeting. I love my staff. I love going to work every day. I love our kids. And that's summary. So that's our presentation for the evening. I'm not sure if you guys have any questions. If you want to have questions, I got a great team to answer questions too, and these guys will answer questions too. So if you have any questions, we'll take those now.
I have a couple questions. Of course I would.
Of course. Okay.
I hope they're really hard.
They're really, really hard. It's a gotcha moment. No.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So how many students do you have at Maricopa Wells now? And did you see COVID affect any of your attendance or?
I had that on here to share, but I was afraid of time. The beginning of this year, we had just over 900. We now, at one time during the year, we had 964. So I just want to share with you, because even though the COVID year, our school has continued to grow. We're now about 944. Check.
Okay, no, that's great. And I love your staff too, and I have missed seeing you, so I'm so glad that you're all here. I mean, MHS or Maricopa Wells staff has always been special to me since it's our oldest middle school. But thanks for being here. Thanks for doing what you're doing. And I just wanted to say, in 2017, our board focus was how do we increase our middle school math scores? And we trusted the schools to take that on. And I'm proud of what you've done. I'm proud of what, Desert Wind has done, because math was really difficult for our middle school kids. That transition from elementary to middle school was kind of like a big black hole. So thank you for bringing that up. And 12% is amazing. So I'm proud of what you're doing, and thanks for being here. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. And as a person that serves against abuse, incorporated as a board member, thank you. The money went to really good use at the shelter right there. So I can testify to that. I know exactly where it went. So thank you. I appreciate all you do.
We love our progress, but we aren't done. That's what I'm going to say. So school's always open for you guys to come. If you want to come, I'll give you a tour. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I want to add to that, and
Okay.
because I toured Maricopa Wells a couple of years ago, back when we were able to tour schools, and listening to this presentation gave me chills, because you can feel how dedicated Principal Miller and his staff are when they speak about these programs. But when you go there, you can't even believe it. I mean, you feel the love. You feel the love on that campus. You feel the unity. You can see it in the kids' faces. They want to do better. And I've said it since I toured that school. It's a shining star, and it's because of you and, like you said, your staff, who've been consistent. And you always find a way. You always find a way. If there's a problem, you solve it. And I can't tell you how thankful we are that you do that within your school. And any way we can support you, obviously we're here to do that. And I know Dr. Lotman feels the same way. But just thank you for all that you're doing. And I can't wait to come see the ISS program as soon as we can get back on campuses, because I had chills when you were talking about the work you are doing with those students. And that's what needs to be done. Those kids deserve a chance, and they deserve the skills that they need to be successful. And it sounds like you're doing that and more. And I'm just wondering if the rest of your staff could stand up, and we can give them a round of applause.
I'd love that. Yeah. Just stand up. Thank you, Vice President Nora. I appreciate that. Thank you, Frank. You guys have a good day. And again, have a great staff. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. And this looks like probably half the staff of Wells showed up here tonight. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. We're on to item 5B, dual language program. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. As the city of Maricopa grows, so grows the dynamic programming that Maricopa Unified School District will offer. Tonight, Ms. Krista Roden and Mr. Wade Watson are here to discuss the expansion of the Maricopa preschool program to incorporate dual language programming. And they are presenting remotely. Take it away.
Good evening, President Owens, Governing Board, Dr. Lotman. Tonight, Mrs. Roden and I are going to present you information about the dual language program. Next slide. The dual language program aligns with our strategic plan. In aligning with Goal 1, every student has access to and equity in excellent educational services, resources, and programs. And Strategy E, engage preschoolers in dynamic research-based programs for early learners. Next slide, please. When you research the benefits of dual language, as we've spent almost 2 years now looking at the research, you find that some of the benefits include these things you see here in the circle. Higher self-esteem and confidence, increased cognitive stimulation, increased problem solving and creativity, higher levels of engagement, fewer disciplinary referrals, appreciation for diversity, which are all great things that we want to have instilled in our students and to foster and grow. So these are just some of the reasons to start a dual language program. Next slide, please. So as we look at our dual language planning, we had to look at languages that are out there that are being taught in other districts that are part of the global economy. And when we researched the languages out there, of the top 10 languages spoken in the world globally, Mandarin is the number one, with 917 million people speaking Mandarin. Spanish is the number two language, with 460 million people speaking Spanish. And English is 379 million. So, with that in mind, we hope to initiate a dual language program in both Spanish and another one in Mandarin. Next slide, please.
So dual language instruction is where a student learns 2 or more languages at the same time. And as Mr. Watson explained in the slide above or prior to this, that cognitive development is very important at such a young age. So that's why we're going to be focusing on our preschool and kindergarten program. Next slide, please. So with that being said, preschool is where we are going to extend our program. And we would also like to give the opportunity to our kindergarten students this year as well. With this program, we will have appropriately certified teachers, not only with the state board, but also proficient in their language. We've already done a little bit of research on curriculum and what that would look like for both Spanish and Mandarin. We have already purchased an Estrelita preschool kindergarten program that we can start to look at using Spanish. And we are also going to be taking a field trip to Levine in the next couple of weeks to see this curriculum being taught in a dual language preschool. So we are super excited about that. Not only along with the curriculum, but assessment will be in both languages as well. And the communication will be both in Mandarin and English, or Spanish and in English. When we first chose the language, we were really concerned that we weren't going to get the applicants to support those programs. But surprisingly enough, we have 6 Mandarin applicants at this time. That's actually more than the Spanish applicants that we have at this time. So we're super excited. We're going to start interviewing them on Thursday and Friday this week, and hopefully we'll get a commitment from one of those candidates. Not only is this program going to be for Maricopa students, it's for all of Maricopa. We are inviting anyone within the city or the community or teachers' kids to come and get involved in this program. It's such an amazing opportunity for us to have as part of Maricopa and as one and only one of a kind in the city of Maricopa. So it's super exciting. I was talking to Mr. Watson earlier, and we were talking about what an opportunity this would have been for our children, or even my children, to go to. So super exciting for that. Next slide, please. Parents' considerations when you're looking at, is this program what's best for my child? Remember, there are going to be age requirements here, starting at preschool and then transitioning through kinder and up through the grade levels. We want to start where the brain development is fresh and everything is supporting a young learner. Again, English will be delivered part of the time, where the selected language would be delivered in the other half of the day. The district is committing to this program. We would like to offer a wide variety of opportunities for our students in preschool and as they transition on to middle school and the high school. We want to give our kids the opportunities to learn Mandarin as they progress onto the business world and so forth. Remember, space is going to be limited, and this is amazing, an excellent opportunity for all. So watch for more enrollment on getting your child enrolled. We will have more information coming out via social media and our web pages and kindergarten roundups. So there will be lots of more opportunities for us to share this exciting continuation of our program. So next slide, please. If you take a look at this, it's the projection from adding preschool and kindergarten in next year as to where we will be in 2026 and 2027, where we have bridged the preschool program through our continuum of elementary. You'll notice that we are starting with 2 grades this year. We wanted to be able to give our teachers support in establishing and developing this program. And when we did some of the research and we did a site visit before COVID came, they found that teachers worked best in conjunction with each other, obviously, where they had someone to plan with. So you'll see that we are obviously putting 2 grades in place for next year. And we will continue to grow these programs or the grade levels as we progress. Next slide, please. All right, with that being said, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
I don't have any questions, but I'm excited to see us growing a new program that is going to be unique to MUSD. So I just find it very exciting. So thank you for pursuing that. I know you've been talking about it and planning for a couple years, so you've certainly done your research. So that's great.
We are excited.
One question that I do have here is this going to be an immersion type of a program? We talked about this a little bit, Mr. Watson. Can you just kind of explain the differences, if there is any?
Sure. Obviously, when you start off at the preschool and kinder level, it's not truly an immersion setting where you would think of, an entire 1-hour block of somebody only speaking in that other language. I mean, when you start out at preschool and kinder, you're going to start out with just words and phrases. You're going to pick up, some vocabulary words and then maybe some greetings. It starts basic, but the intent then would be as you grow from year to year, the level of immersion would grow. But it is not, you don't start off fully immersed. It's something that would grow from year to year in terms of the amount of immersion you would receive. But hopefully, by the time you're in 5th grade, you could understandably receive a full hour of instruction in, say, math that was in the other language.
Gotcha. Very good. So what would happen if, let's say, someone that next year, or I should say a few years down the road, in 2nd or 3rd grade, wanted to jump into this program? Would that be a possibility?
So again, we talked about this a little bit in that in order to enter the program, if they're starting, say in 2nd, 3rd grade, once we're going, they would either have to have been part of a dual language program in that language prior so that they've got the exposure, or they would have to test in. They would have to demonstrate the level of academic progress in that language needed to enter the program, because they wouldn't have been a part of the previous years, which build upon each other. So that's a great question. They would have to either have been part of a program or test in to enter at a later date.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Any other questions, board?
I have a real quick question, and I know you already answered it for me, Wade, but I want other people that might have it out in TV land. How difficult do you think it's going to be to hire teachers who speak Mandarin as we go forward with this program?
Well, as we said, and as we researched, I know Dr. Lotman asked around, Mrs. Roden asked around, we've all spoken to colleagues and contacts. We honestly anticipated it being much more difficult than at least initially it has been. Like Mrs. Roden said, as of today, we have 6 applicants for Mandarin, which is super exciting. And as I stated in our meeting, I think that it potentially could be a challenge. We've been warned of that, but I'm also optimistic that because of our foreign national program that we've been, growing with teachers, that might be an avenue for placement for those needed teachers.
Excellent. Thank you.
And I don't have a question. I just want to thank you for your work on this program. And I think this is an important program to offer to the community and to the parents of MUSD as a different accelerated program that, their children can enroll in and be a part of, and that they don't have to go anywhere else for, because it's right here in MUSD. So thank you for that.
Very good. Thank you. Good to see both you, Mrs. Roden, and Mr. Watson. Appreciate the, as always, a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and our community can expect additional information shortly, right?
Absolutely. Our marketing campaign begins. Currently, we're developing the materials, and it will be in print and social media through our kindergarten roundup. I think that was one of the avenues that Mrs. Roden just brought up to communicate the program with our current students, but we want every single person in the city of Maricopa to know that this program is offered now in MUSD. So we have a promotional blitz planned.
Very good. All right, thank you, Dr. Lopen. All right, thank you. All right, moving right along, we are on to item 6, consent agenda.
Motion to approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Corey Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye. By your vote of 5-0, it is approved. We are on to item 7, A, action items, and we're on the personnel schedule. Mr. Beckett.
Thank you, President Owens, members of the Governing Board, Dr. Loman. It's a pleasure tonight to bring a visionary personnel schedule to you. This is an opportunity for us to be looking into the future, planning for next year, and there are a number of items on here that we're excited about. And again, we're going to be. I'm willing to take questions. I know that you've all had the meetings concerning some of these items, but I'd be willing to take any of your questions.
I don't have any questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Minus number 26.
Right, for
Correct.
the agenda.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Corey Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye. By your vote of 5-0. Personnel schedule is approved with the exception of line 26. We're on to item 7B, which is item 26 on the personnel schedule. I wanted to pull this off because I know that this is a a very contentious item, and we did receive several emails about this, and I don't want this to come across to our administration as I don't trust you, but I can't I can't support this position. So
Sorry. You need one of us to make a motion?
yeah,
Okay.
so I guess I'll make a motion to not approve line 26.
Seeing there's no second, I would like to make a motion to approve number 26.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
No vote. I don't understand the issue closely enough. I'm too new to the board.
He's abstaining.
Abstain.
Corey Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
I'm not aware of what this is all about either, so I'll decline to vote.
that a nay?
Is that an?
Are you going to abstain from the vote, Mr. Jordan?
Abstain, yeah.
Okay.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Nay. By your vote of 2 to 1, line 26 is approved.
Mhm.
And we are on to item 8, adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Tori Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye. It is 7:25 and this meeting is adjourned.